We are your home theater and AV questions answered. This is AVRant. Want your home theater or AV question answered by Tom and Rob? Send it to question@avrant.com. Welcome to AVRant. I'm Tom Andry, and I'm here with
Rob H.
John wonders about potential problems with high output HDR projectors. Suppose you have a room that is light controlled but doesn't have matte black paint or velvet on the walls. Well, that narrows it down to every room ever.
Yeah.
With potentially twice the amount of light or more bouncing off the walls and back onto the screen. Will that wash out the picture even more than a lower lumen projector and negate the benefits of HDR? What?
Well, I mean, will it
I
wash
understand
it
what
out?
he's saying. I don't think so. I mean, theoretically it could, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't really think so, to be honest with you. I mean, it'd have to be like an all-white room before I would even glossy paint. Before I would even... Because I got like a semi-gloss in here, and I've never seen... Because that's what the room came with, right?
Mhm.
And I kind of like the color. It's orange. It's weird. But all the colors in this house, like the guy who owned the house before me, I liked his color choices. They're all bizarre that I never would have done. But it's interesting. So I didn't change it. And when I take everything off the wall in here and patch up all the holes from the stuff, it's going to be a nice little bedroom again. And I've never thought that the walls were really reflecting all that much light. They certainly weren't reflecting that much light back onto the screen. I mean, they may have been reflecting it around the room a little bit, but not to the point where I thought it was washing out the colors. I don't see that that would be much more of an issue. And remember, with the high dynamic range, I mean, we are seeing, more contrast, but that really super brightness is usually just
A small amount.
Small.
Yeah. So I was going to say this comes down to like average picture level, right?
Yeah.
Which is the light coming off the screen as a whole divided by the total surface area, a small portion of which is now twice as bright or brighter. But it's
Right.
only that small portion. That's the way most HDR is going to be. I mean, if you have a bright white glossy room, then okay, then maybe this is even more of a problem. But if you have that room, then maybe you want an ambient light rejecting screen anyway. In which case,
really.
it's still an ambient light rejecting screen and will work just as well for HDR. So basically, whatever advice we would have given for projection in the past, I think it still stands. I don't think adding HDR to it changes the advice we would give in terms of what screen you should choose or what you should try to do in terms of paint color and finish.
No, I agree completely. Nathan, whenever there's an article explaining HDR, it's always mentioned that the extra bright 1000 plus nit light output is only for spectacular highlights, which is what we just said.
Yeah.
But is there anything stopping someone from creating a blindingly bright image? In particular, Nathan is thinking about advertisers once the ATSC 3.0 and broadcast HDR starts taking off. They've already tried blasting our ears off for commercials.
Yeah.
Any chance they might try to grab our attention by creating exceedingly bright ads? Any chance? I'm sure there's somebody rubbing their hands together right now. But I'm not super duper worried about that.
Yeah, when Nathan wrote this, I was like, oh, I can see that happening.
No, I can see it happening
can
too,
see
but it's only going to happen once, and somebody's going to be like, "What just happened?" I am calling somebody to complain.
Yeah.
There's like 100,000 million old people in Florida that be like, I'm calling my congressman. I'm like, ugh.
On the other hand, people still seem to like their vivid picture mode, so maybe they'll like it even more.
Even more. Just think, that's right. You're watching like I don't know, Verizon commercial, right? And then the bright light comes out. All you hear, like it's during the Super Bowl. All you hear all the way down the street is pop, 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 as the bulbs in every single LCD all the way down the street just pop, 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 pop. It just explodes.
So
Yeah,
I'm not aware of anything in the signal that prevents someone from putting up full brightness, full white screen. However, every display so far, if you actually feed it like a 100% white field at maximum brightness, none of them actually are able to make the entire screen as bright as a small, because usually they're measuring what they call like a 10% window. So only 10% of the screen is at maximum brightness. And that's typically where they're measuring the peak brightness of 1,000 or whatever nits it might be. And pretty much across the board, if you put the whole screen white, then it's not even able to get to the full 1000 nits over the entire screen. So I think there's a little bit of protection just sort of built into the TV already, just in the fact that it would just take way too much energy to even do that. But yeah, no, I guess some crazy sadistic ad programmer could potentially do this. Hopefully they won't. Hopefully there'll be some kind of best practices and they'll be like, yeah, that's not a good idea.
Yeah, I don't really see this as. I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible.
Oh yeah.
I
know.
Yeah. Want your question answered? Send it to question@avrant.com. This is AVRant.
Now go out and listen to something.